Welcome to Movies in the Making. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the 1941 classic drama film Citizen Kane, originally released by RKO Radio Pictures and directed by its star, Orson Welles. Here, we will dive deep into the story of the production of this film. This is widely considered to be one of the best films ever made. It is not such a significant film without a significant production behind the scenes. So, sit back and enjoy the show. You are all in for a Rosebud. Orson Welles' Citizen Kane is often associated with William Randolph Hearst, the media mogul who was a major influence on the film. Hearst's lavish lifestyle, particularly symbolized in his opulent Hearst Castle, is seen as the inspiration for the fictional Xanadu in Citizen Kane. Hearst's obsession with grandeur, exemplified by the construction of an ever-expanding estate filled with priceless art, mirrors the character of protagonist Charles Foster Kane, who sacrifices personal relationships in his relentless pursuit of wealth and power. Despite the film being a fictionalized account, the similarities between Hearst's life and Kane's are apparent, especially in their shared obsession with accumulation and status. However, Welles himself downplayed the direct comparisons, saying that only one scene in the film could be considered purely Hearstian. Despite this, Citizen Kane reflects the themes of ambition and emptiness seen in Hearst's life, as both men amassed great wealth yet found themselves alone in their monumental homes, surrounded by treasures but lacking meaningful connections. Welles used Hearst Castle, and by extension Hearst's life, to explore the hollowness of excessive pursuit and the cost of ambition. The film's portrayal of Kane's final moments, with his longing for a simpler, more innocent time symbolized by his childhood-led Rosebud, resonates with the realization that wealth and power cannot bring true fulfillment, an idea that was also evident in Hearst's later life, despite his outward success. Orson Welles gained his early experience in performance and the arts from a rich childhood. Born into a family where both parents were talented, Welles was a child prodigy with abilities in music, acting, and art. His formal education at the Todd School in Woodstock, Illinois, USA, nurtured these talents, where he staged modern and classical plays, gaining recognition from his peers and teachers. After his parents' deaths, Welles pursued further training at the Art Institute of Chicago and then in Dublin, Ireland, where he joined the prestigious Abbey Theatre. He honed his acting and directing skills, contributing to various theatrical productions and even designing sets. His first film, The Hearts of Age, was created during his time at Todd School, marking the beginning of his venture into filmmaking. In the mid-1930s, Welles began gaining significant experience in theater and radio. Partnering with producer John Houseman, he formed the Mercury Theater, where he produced and directed innovative stage plays like Macbeth and Julius Caesar, the latter of which became famous for its modern dress production. Welles's impact in radio also grew as he adapted and performed in dramas, most notably the infamous 1938 broadcast of War of the Worlds, which captivated and shocked audiences. These experiences in both theater and radio were crucial in shaping Welles's unique storytelling style, which would later culminate in Citizen Kane. His exposure to diverse mediums allowed him to experiment with narrative techniques and visual storytelling, providing him with the expertise needed to make his cinematic debut. Orson Welles' initial project when he arrived in Hollywood was a film adaptation of Joseph Conrad's 1899 novel Heart of Darkness. However, due to budget issues during the pre-production phase, the project was scrapped. Faced with this setback and the pressure of his contract with RKO, which allowed him a final cut on his films, Welles quickly turned to creating Citizen Kane. Meanwhile, Heart of Darkness was adapted by Francis Ford Coppola into Apocalypse Now, that came out in 1979. Welles' collaboration with screenwriter Herman Mankiewicz led to the development of the story about a newspaper magnate, Charles Foster Kane, whose life is explored through a series of flashbacks. This shift from Heart of Darkness to Citizen Kane may have been influenced by Welles' interest in political themes, as well as the structure and ideas from Conrad's work, such as the exploration of power, corruption, and the complexities of human nature. Although Welles never made Heart of Darkness, its themes of imperialism and the psychological journey echo in Citizen Kane. The investigative structure of the film, where the reporter digs into Kane's past through interviews and flashbacks, parallels the exploration of deep, hidden motivations in Heart of Darkness. This structure, along with themes of ambition, isolation, and the pursuit of personal power, reflects Welles's interest in the complexities of human behavior and the consequences of unchecked power, which were also central to the book. Herman J. Mankiewicz was a well-known screenwriter in Hollywood, famous for his sharp wit and memorable dialogue. Over his career, he worked with major filmmakers like Joseph von Sternberg and the Marx Brothers, and contributed to films like Dinner at 8, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, 1933, and The Wizard of Oz, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, 1939. The latter of which was where he suggested shooting Kansas in black and white and Oz in color. Mankiewicz was also known for his bold personality, having come to Hollywood from New York City, where he had been a prominent critic and part of the famous Algonquin Round Table. He was often drunk and outspoken, delivering political commentary and insults at social gatherings. Despite his talent, he had a reputation for being unreliable, with a habit of gambling and wasting time, which led him to be fired from many jobs. By the end of summer 1939, he was unemployed and open to new opportunities, which is how he ended up working with Orson Welles. The authorship of Citizen Kane has sparked a long-standing controversy over who truly deserves credit for its screenplay between Herman J. Mankiewicz, the witty, hard-drinking screenwriter known for his sharp insights into Hollywood, or Orson Welles, the young genius who co-wrote, directed, and starred in the film. While many studies have concluded that both contributed significantly, with Welles playing a key role in shaping the film's innovative structure and vision, the debate continues to this day. Some, like film critic Pauline Kael, who published a whole book on the subject entitled The Citizen Kane Book, emphasize Mankiewicz's role, but this view has been largely refuted by experts. The film's groundbreaking style and depth came from both Welles's imaginative direction and Mankiewicz's knowledge of Hollywood's power dynamics, but the true essence of Citizen Kane, particularly its ability to blend life and art into a transcendent realism, was largely due to Welles. Ultimately, while both men played essential roles, the controversy highlights how Citizen Kane reshaped Hollywood, showing that a director's influence on the screenplay is now far more recognized than in the past. But who does deserve credit between the two? That is something we shall leave you, the audience, to decide. Citizen Kane was primarily filmed at what is now Paramount Pictures' Stage 19 in Hollywood, with additional scenes shot at Stage 32 at the former RKO studio, located at Melrose Avenue and Gower Street. The RKO studio, which had a rich history, became part of the Paramount lot. Welles creatively used the real locations to enhance the film's authenticity, such as incorporating the actual RKO production room into the opening newsreel scene, and using a Western movie set for Susan Alexander's nightclub. Some outdoor scenes, like those depicting Kane's Xanadu, were filmed at Balboa Park in San Diego, with its Casa del Prado complex representing the sprawling mansion's ornate design. Additionally, portions of the mansion's grounds were filmed at the former Busch Gardens in Pasadena, where the landscape gardens had been constructed by the Busch Brewing family. The original editor of Citizen Kane was Mark Robson, a more experienced editor at RKO. Orson Welles fired him during production because he felt that Robson's editing style was too conventional and not in line with his more innovative and unconventional vision for the film. Welles wanted to break new ground in both storytelling and filming techniques, and he felt that Robson's approach was too standard for the groundbreaking work he had in mind. After firing Robson, Welles hired Robert Wise, a younger, less experienced editor who was more open to experimenting with new techniques and collaborating closely with Welles to achieve the film's innovative look and structure. Wise, who was only 6 months older than the then 25-year-old director, worked closely with Welles, helping shape the film's pacing, rhythm, and iconic sequences, such as the breakfast scene, where Wise used hip pans to convey the passage of time. He also crafted the look of the News on the March newsreel sequence by blending new and old footage. Wise would later direct many iconic films such as The Day the Earth Stood Still, 20th Century Fox, 1951, West Side Story, United Artists, 1961, The Sound of Music, 20th Century Fox, 1965, and Star Trek, The Motion Picture, Paramount Pictures, 1979, based on the 1966 original Star Trek series created by Gene Roddenberry for NBC. Greg Toland became the cinematographer for Citizen Kane due to his reputation as a highly skilled and innovative cameraman, admired by Orson Welles for his work on films like Two from 1940 directed by John Ford, The Grapes of Wrath, 20th Century Fox, and A Long Voyage Home, United Artists. Despite being under contract with Samuel Goldwyn, Welles was determined to have Toland on his film. In a remarkable turn of events, Toland reached out to Welles directly, expressing interest in collaborating on the project. This led to a productive partnership as Welles and Toland worked closely together, pushing the boundaries of cinematography with techniques like the revolutionary use of pan focus and unique camera angles. Toland's expertise and creativity, coupled with Welles's openness to experimentation, made Citizen Kane a groundbreaking film in cinematic history. Bernard Herrmann became the composer for Citizen Kane after being personally approached by Orson Welles in 1940. Before this, Herrmann had already gained widespread recognition in the world of radio. In 1934, he was appointed the conductor of the CBS Symphony Orchestra, where he became a significant figure in the radio drama scene. His work with Orson Welles was particularly noble, as Herrmann composed music for several of Welles's radio productions, including the Mercury Theatre on the Air. He also worked on radio dramas for other influential figures such as Norman Corwin, a renowned writer and director known for his groundbreaking broadcasts. Herrmann's skill for creating intense, atmospheric music for radio dramas helped him to develop a distinctive style, which Welles appreciated and eventually sought to incorporate into Citizen Kane. This collaboration marked the beginning of a long and fruitful partnership between the two, solidifying Herrmann's reputation as one of the most influential composers of his time. The Citizen Kane trailer, made by Orson Welles, was an early example of how movie trailers could be used creatively, departing from the traditional commercial format. Instead of using actual footage from the film, it acts as a 4-minute documentary, blending behind-the-scenes shots and vignettes of characters reacting to the central figure, Charles Foster Kane. The trailer opens with a striking shot and a boom lowering followed by Welles's voice, introducing the film and jokingly showcasing chorus girls for Ballyhoo. Welles then introduces the cast, showing them out of costume and in a more casual setting, with his own presence limited to the voiceover. The trailer emphasizes Kane as an enigmatic figure, with characters discussing him over the phone but never showing him directly. Welles ends by presenting Kane in contrasting terms, both heroic and flawed, while maintaining the mystery. As of the 4th of January, 2025, Citizen Kane has a 99 critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a full 100 rating on Metacritic, an 8.3 rating on IMDb, and a 4.2 rating on Letterboxd. Citizen Kane was first screened at the Palace Theatre on 1st of May 1941. When it received a wide release on the 5th of September later that year, it was a financial loss for RKO. The film struggled at the box office due to the interference of William Randolph Hearst himself. His life and persona heavily inspired the titular character. Furious at the film's unflattering portrayal of him, Hearst used the media empire to sabotage the film's success by banning coverage and advertising, and bribing theater chains to avoid screening it. This led to a significant financial loss of about $160,000. Regardless, Citizen Kane won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay to both Orson Welles and Herman J. Mankiewicz. It also received 9 other nominations, including Best Actor, Best Director, both to Orson Welles, and Best Picture, losing in the latter category to How Green Was My Valley, 20th Century Fox, 1941. Additionally, in the 1999 Village Voice film poll, it came first place for the best film of the century. For the 50th anniversary of Citizen Kane, the film was reissued for a commercial theatrical release on the 1st of May, exactly 5 decades after its debut. Although Citizen Kane had been frequently shown on television and film schools, it had not been presented in theaters for over 30 years. In preparation for the re-release, a new, sharper print and soundtrack were created, maintaining the original black and white format despite the widespread trend of colorizing classic films. The film was initially shown in select cities, with limited distribution anticipated, targeting an audience of film enthusiasts and those interested in repertory screenings. The re-released film grossed $1.5 million. Citizen Kane is widely considered to be one of the greatest films ever made, much so that British magazine Sight and Sound, who conducted polls based on opinions from critics and directors, featured the film at first place on the list of greatest films ever made in 1962, 1972, 1982, 1992, and 2002. Warner Bros. Discovery owns the current rights to Citizen Kane. It was first distributed by RKO Radio Pictures, which shut down in 1957 and had its assets transferred to RKO General. RKO General had many of its films, including Citizen Kane, sold from Westray Capital Corporation to Turner Entertainment on the 10th of December 1987. Turner Entertainment itself was purchased by Time Warner on the 10th of October 1996. This is how Warner Bros. Has the rights to Citizen Kane. And that wraps up our deep dive into the making of Citizen Kane. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated on all things Movies in the Making. Let us know in the comments what you think of Citizen Kane, or if you have any favorite moments from the film we did not touch upon, or what films you would like to hear covered by this channel. Also be sure to check out our community page, where we announce what films will be talked about by this channel each week. New posts arrive every Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time on Movies in the Making, where we will be talking about The Bridge on the River Kwai, Columbia Pictures, 1957, and more films to follow along the way. Tune in for more Movies in the Making as we uncover the stories behind cinema's most unforgettable films. This has been Jason Scotchmer, film enthusiast and passionate about the arts.